Alright, we're going to finish off the last part of our little piece right here. We're going to add in the glow dot that'll go into it once it starts to show up with the circles and the edges on it. Let's go ahead and make a new particle in the hierarchy. Just go to Create, Particle System. This one, let's just call this one Glow. And left click and drag it into the magic effect. And then be sure that your position on this one, just set this one to 0, 0, 0. Alright, so what we're going to do is just first change out our renderer. So we'll just go over to our glow dot material, just left click and drag it over to the material option right there. So we're going to have a shape similar to this one that you're seeing right there. So for the glow dot option on the sort mode, go ahead and do the by distance. That way we have at least some correct sorting as it goes up and through. Up at the top, let's go ahead and start in from here, and we'll just work our way down. The duration side of it, let's go ahead and, we know that the magic effect lasts for 3 seconds. We'll make this one last for about 2 1/8 of a second, so it'll last a little longer than the rays. You'll see of those, but it's not going to last as long as the main circle piece, because that's going to be our main focus on it. Be sure that you uncheck looping. We just want to go through it one time through there. On the start delay, we're good with it being at 0. It could actually go start a little bit after everything else though, and then it starts to form. Just depends on the situation of it. For the start lifetime, how long is it going to last? Actually, instead of giving a solid number on this, let's do a random between 2. So we'll say it's going to last anywhere from half a second to a whole second. That way we'll get a little bit variance to them. The speed, just like the other ones, we'll start it at 0. The start size, let's do some random variance on this one as well. We'll do a constant between 2 numbers. So we'll have the size going anywhere from between 0.05 and we'll try 0.1 to start with. It might be a little too big. We can test it out real quick. No, actually that's a pretty good size. Yeah, that'll work out pretty good with it. So we'll keep with those numbers on it. And then the rotation, we'll go ahead and do the same like we've done with the other two. We'll do a rotation between 0 and 360. And then the color, trying to stick with that same color that we've been working with so far. And then we'll also go with a 128 on the alpha. Alright, so we've got for this one, you may want to use your previous colors, but this one currently 43, 97, 255, 128. Alright. And then we'll keep it with, the others were actually local, and we'll go ahead and keep this one with local space as well. If you wanted it to feel like it was part of the environment though, you could change it to world. And actually we could change it to world here. That way if you're moving it, the other ones feel more like they're a part of it, but that one's more wispy, so if there was wind or something it could actually be blowing it. Alright, and then let's go ahead and go into our emissions and our shape. The emission rate on this one, let's go ahead and set this up to have quite a few more. We'll do about 30 here. Let's see how it's going to look. Yeah, we want to have enough showing up that it actually feels like there's quite a few to fill that center spot for it. For the cone shape, let's actually go in here and change up the angle on it. We don't want them to go outward, we want to go straight up, so we'll just have the angle set to 0. And then the radius on here, I don't want it to be outside of that circle. Let's go ahead and make sure that we keep it within the circle area. So we'll go for about a 0.7 on here. Then we'll have it coming from just the circle spot as it goes upwards on it. Alright. And then after we have that one, let's see, we want to do for the emitting from, for the base, let's actually do volume. That way we can say how much space we want it to emit in. I'm going to actually take, and you can actually click on this the center dot and just left click and drag it down. You can drag it down to the area you want, and or you can go over to your length and you can drag this up and down and be able to choose the size that you want it. We'll go for about a, let's see, we'll start with about a 0.5 and see how that goes. We might have to increase it a little bit or decrease it. I can go ahead and simulate it here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll pull it up just a little bit more. Let's say we go for a full 1 on there. There we go. Yeah, that'll look good. Alright, so we have our shape set in place. Let's go ahead and do our velocity over lifetime. We'll check this one. And we want to make them so instead of just simply being stagnant when they start, let's go ahead and do a 0.25 on the Y, and be sure that the velocity on here is set to the velocity over lifetime. Be sure your type is set to world. So if we simulate, now we have a little bit of movement as they're going upward. Alright, so that's looking good. We'll go ahead and continue on with our color. Let's see, we'll do not color by speed, but color over lifetime. And the color over lifetime, we just want to make sure that we have a little bit of a gradient fade for it. So again, that top bar, clicking on the 2 points, will take the alpha down to 0 on both sides. And then I'm just going to go for about a location around 20% over. We'll take this one and drag it up to the 255. So we'll have a quick fade in and then a long fade out. Alright. So let's see how that one looks. So there we go. So then there's this nice longer fade out from it. Alright, so now we have a size, and we want to do a size over lifetime. And this one, let's just do a gradual size over lifetime. So again, we'll go down to that particle system curve down at the bottom. We'll keep with it's going to start at 1, but how about we say that it's going to drop all the way to 0 when it gets all the way to the end. And then we'll just have a curve going on it right here. There we go. So this will just go from a full size, and then it starts to shrink as it goes down. And if we check out our simulating, you'll notice now you see how they kind of go all the way to a small point. Alright, so that'll give us that one. And then last thing, we want to add a little bit of rotation to it. So instead of being so stagnant as it goes in, let's give it a 2 constant value. Rotation, let's just do a negative 180 to a 180. Alright, so then if we simulate once more, now we're getting that rotation happening with it as it's going up. And that should kind of finish us off for that part of it. So now if we check it out inside of the scene, so let's go ahead and go to our camera view. Let's make sure I'm going to change my camera view to be sure it's looking at this area right here. So I'm going to select my camera, Control Shift and F. This is just going to align the selected object to the view. And then we'll push play. So then you get a little shape that comes up. You see it, and then it all goes away. And then what we can do, looking at it from there, let's do one more thing here. When I simulate it, I'm going to actually go ahead and go to the stop mode. What we should see, what we want to see is that when we simulate and pause, do you see how there's a little bit of space right in between? It's like the average would be right there. So right here, you can either decrease the edge, bring the edge in, or bring the other one out. I'm going to actually take my edge and just pull it in a little bit more. I'm going to make it a little bit tighter right around there. I think this will be the right one. Here, let's see if we grab the right one on it. There we go. So it's connecting a little bit closer to the textures right there for us. Alright. So there you go. There's a quick but hopefully good start to some fun particle effects that you can go with for this. Now remember, just as a little side note here, is that for instance with the edge, you could actually animate the edge on your shape with your angle. You could take your angle all the way to 90, and when you get to 90 and you do the effect, what you're going to notice, it goes flat. So you can actually go from a flat point, and you could actually animate it so that as it goes flat, it actually goes all the way up until it closes in. So for instance, you can have it going straight, and then you can have it going all the way flat. So you can do quite a bit of extra stuff to it. It doesn't just have to be the the one angle. You can actually really create some extra variance to it. Alright, so if you want to click on your magic effect here, let's go ahead and just left click and drag this one over to your magic effect folder, make a prefab inside of there for it. And then I'm just going to do a quick test while we're looking at it here. So we'll just go to our scene texture and rotate around, find our scene. So if we had a scene like this and we wanted to add in the magic effect to it, we can kind of get a quick idea of how it was going to look or how it would play out. There we go. So if we had that one, we'll do it one more time here. There you go. So that kind of gives you a good idea as to whether or not it fits in, and then as always, adjust and make it whatever you need to make sure that it really fits for your scene, fits for your scale. Alright, there you go. Good job.